Howard Schacter, how did you come up with this idea, and how did you spin in the historical moment too?
Well, first off, thanks for coming on down today, Jimmy. Look, the stars sort of aligned, right? 250 years ago, Massachusetts colonial ancestors, right around here at the Boston Harbor, conducted what is arguably the most famous tax protest in American history.
Wait, it was a party. I know it was a protest, but the Boston Tea Party, there's a party. And I wonder if there was any connection there. But anyway, go ahead.
So 250 years ago, right? The Boston Tea Party. Well, as you know, probably better than most in this industry, we're hit with a little something called 280E, right? Our own little unfair tax.
It's unjust.
Unjust, unfair. And look, what does it start with? It starts with Schedule 1 classification. Get rid of Schedule 1, make it 3 or 4, and 280E goes away.
There's a lot of people who don't want it to be scheduled at all, Howard.
Yeah, well, I would ask those people, really? Has anybody OD'd from marijuana? Does it really deserve the classification that heroin and cocaine do? It's a little ridiculous, right? And look, Biden has asked for the Health and Human Services Department to give an opinion. Hasn't come yet. Who knows when it'll be enacted? Who knows what it'll say? So enough with the freaking slog of the federal government on these issues, right? At the end of the day, look, Marimed, we're in a good position. We're profitable. We're strong. We're not going anywhere.
And you look at this as a plant medicine.
Of course. This is helping. We all know. We've seen the studies. And we're seeing the dispensary customers every day, the benefits of this drug. So the fact that they have to pay more because a lot of the businesses are paying more in tax is insane. And when we're fighting the fight on mainstreaming cannabis and getting it into the eyes of every adult consumer in this country, the last thing we should worry about is whether or not our product prices for safe, effective, consistent product can be on par with illicit drugs. Like, that is insane. So what did we do, right? We did our own version of the Tea Party. We called it the Boston 280E THC Party. We stormed a schooner. We went out to the harbor. We screamed for the repeal of 280E, and we tossed weed into the harbor.
Now, was there really weed in those boxes, or it was marked weed? I remember seeing that.
Well, you are talking to a PR guy, so no. It was weed because it was the word weed, but no. In all seriousness. More
importantly, you threw something into the harbor, retrieved it, and brought it back on shore so it doesn't pollute our harbor, right?
Zero cannabis was used in this stunt. Our lawyers would make us say, right? No cannabis was used. No cannabis was sparked. Zero. But and the boxes were empty, sustainable wood, and retrieved immediately. So no harm, no foul. But an important message delivered, I hope.
Right, no, and you guys had to adapt and improvise because at one point I was coming to one part of the harbor, and then it's like, no, we're over here now. And I'm like, okay, fine. You know, the good news is I'm familiar with this town.
Look, I'll explain that, and I think it also is dealing with what we're dealing with, right? Our boat happens to be docked next to the aquarium. When the aquarium got wind of what we were doing, they said, look, we have kids here. Do you really want to spread the message of cannabis right next to us? And we're like, come on. Well, we thought we were past this, but we're going to play nice. It's a beautiful day for a boat ride. We'll go out to the water.
How did we stop drunk driving? Do you remember the MAD group?
Man, smarter folks than me.
So the point is, they educated young people about the dangers of alcohol, or the responsible use of alcohol by adults over 21. Well, so why can't cannabis do the same thing for the kids? Every single person, politician, what about the kids? What about the kids? The kids are smarter than the parents.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
I know I was when I was a kid, at least about this subject.
You hit it, man. You hit it.
So why don't we educate the kids? Talk to them about this. And by the way, it's not for everybody. People are allergic to it.
No.
You know, it is still...
What vice is for everybody, right? But I'll tell you, you're 100% right. I'll give you an anecdote. I moved to Massachusetts from New York about a year and a half ago when I started working with Marimed.
Oh, did you move to a town that I'm familiar with in Massachusetts? Okay, and yeah.
I have a middle school daughter now going into high school. But I went to my first parent-teacher night, right? And I'm in the health class, and the teacher's going in the curriculum, and it turns out that she teaches a day of anti-cannabis because it's a Schedule I drug. And I went up to her afterwards. I said, really? And can I come in for a day and talk? And she said, off the record, I hate the curriculum. It's unfair, but we are a government entity at the end of the day, and until the government changes things, I have a curriculum that I have to teach.
It is absolute nonsense. By the way, there's so many things wrong with the educational system right now. Teaching for testing rather than teaching for learning, but I'm not going there today. Howard Schacter, great to meet you finally. I am so impressed. As soon as I saw what it was about, I said, I bet Howard Schacter did. Howard, give us your idea. Congratulations. And as we know, no taxation without representation. The 280E is allowed for every business in America to write off their regular business expenses. And they're not allowing the cannabis industry to do it. They're making the cannabis industry do cash only. You know, they're slogging up the whole muck of things in DC because the safe banking act. We have to get the safe banking done. You guys, once that happens and once it's descheduled, you're going to have a big impact on the economy in a positive way, including educational programs like the one I want to see.
We feel like we already are. We're employing a lot of folks, right? We're bringing innovation to the world, and we're putting a lot of tax dollars into the town, city, state, and federal coffers that are being used in really, really good ways, generally speaking. But it's time, right? It's time, and particularly, as I said earlier, we'll be okay. We're profitable, we're strong, we know how to navigate 280E, we're not surprised by it. But that entrepreneur who got that license and is psyched to open up a dispensary, and their business plan says, they'll pay, X on their tax, and at the end of the year we're told, no, it's double. That could prevent them from being involved in year two, right?
The government is doing everything it can to I love that word, slow down the industry. In fact, they're trying to almost keep it from starting, Howard.
Yeah. Yes, right? So we say no more. And that's why we say in a very literal sense, there is taxation without representation. We are not represented fairly.
Yeah. I will say, I'll give the credit. Our Massachusetts contingent's pretty good. Right, but what we need to do is get everyone that's in a state like Massachusetts, okay, to make calls to those other sides of the fence and urge them to change their world, because they can change their world one way or another with this, whether they're business people, whether they're registered nurses, doctors, veterans, women, blacks, Asians, I don't care, right?
Yeah. Anyway. No. I mean, look, in fairness, and you're right. I'm glad.
I know what the rap signal means.
You teed it at the net for me. I'm dying. It's 100 degrees here, man. 100 degrees. At any rate, so look, Massachusetts, Maryland, Illinois, 3 of the states we operate in, and 17 others, they have provided tax relief to 280E. But we all know as consumers, the difference of what you pay state versus federal, it's significant. It's peanuts. So until 280 goes at the federal level, this hypocrisy, this ridiculous tax really impacts our bottom line and impacts consumers. We got to do something about it. No more 280.
No more 280. It's going right to my CFO. Thank you, Howard Schacter from Marimed. You can find out more at Marimed Inc. Inc. .com.